What's
Hello,
going
Defense
on?
Diaries.
So, how you holding up?
Oh my gosh. Well, if we can get through the line adventures, we can get through anything, right? How are you doing?
I've
Well,
been
you haven't
lucky.
had
I've
you've
been
been
lucky.
lucky.
I've
Well,
been
and you
very
helped me
lucky.
you helped me out one day too. So I was very
I
grateful
I felt so bad
for
for my
that.
friends that were going
Falling
through
asleep in
hell. Oh
court.
my god. Well, yeah, one day Lauren, she literally she had to dip because they'd been out all night sleeping on the concrete, and she like had to go back and rest. So I felt so bad, and I knew at that point I was able to kind of give you a hand. So I was happy to be able to give you a little sleep, a little rest. So where are you at on this thing?
Okay, so I'm
You
gonna.
and John are kind of
Yeah, and we've talked to we like Bob, we like Defense Diaries, so this is where we are, and then I want to compliment you too. So, I've sat in there. I'm just one person in there, right? Just one person in there taking in all the evidence, and of course, I haven't seen all of the evidence the jury's seen, right? There's been some things that have been private, but I've heard most, and I am leaning towards Richard Allen being guilty, honestly, and I finally kind of shared that yesterday on our podcast, but I told everyone, look, I am just one person in there. And I can tell you right now, not every person agrees with me. So I'm just, I'm just one person in there, and a person next to me might say the difference. In fact, I went over and I just gave someone a big hug who has been in the courtroom, and they think Richard Allen is innocent. So there's room for a lot of opinion. That's my take at the end of the day. To me, evidence looks that way. But I want to say this, Bob, and I've told you this, but I am so grateful how I have watched you be there for the Allen family. Um, they are victims in all of this too. Nobody, what innocent or guilty, I have been very touched by how you have been there for Kathy and how people have been there for her. And when I watched Brittany testify, Richard Allen's daughter, it was very emotional for me. It brought tears to my eyes. I can't imagine what this family has gone through. And I too have been there, just so you know. I have testified in court for someone I love. And so thank you for what you do. And I just also want to thank you for being able to agree to disagree sometimes.
Well, I mean, look, I argued for a living for a long time. That's what I did. I'm a lawyer. It's like I'm always, and I had no position in this going into this trial. Like that's always my thing. It's like I may have a indication of based on the evidence that I'm seeing in a probable cause affidavit. I always thought it leaned innocent. I said I have to wait till trial. They might have more evidence. So I've seen it all. And where I'm at personally, I still haven't revealed it, but I can certainly see them coming back with a guilty verdict. I can also see them coming back with a not guilty, but I was talking about it over here, coming back with a not guilty, with an acquittal in a case where you have two beautiful young girls that were killed, where you have the families sitting in that courtroom, is something that is going to weigh very, very heavily on the jury's minds. They are not going to be ignorant to that's a reality. So any thought that there was going to be a quick acquittal, that was never going to happen, because they have to be acutely aware of how that would be devastating. They need to go through the evidence once, twice, three times, and truly go in there and deliberate it all. And if they're going to say in our minds there's reasonable doubt, they've got to be sure about it, because they're not going to do that to the families, because the families are in there hoping that they're going to get whatever form of justice that we can give to families that suffer these kinds of horrible tragedies, which isn't enough. But there's no way we can't bring the kids back for them, which is what we all wish we could do. So, in my mindset, I'm on pins and needles. I've been an emotional wreck myself, in a lot of different ways. And and I appreciate you being here. I'm appreciating, your and John's coverage. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I mean, these cases, they're that, I mean, none of us were there. Right. None of us can be definitive,
Yeah,
so.
and, I mean, Libby are gone, and all they left was this phone, and it's unclear to many. The video is what I mean, the bridge guy video. And I want to say this too about the jury. They have been so methodical, and they have been such listeners. I mean, I don't often see this at trials that I go to, but usually by the time closing arguments happen, they're sort of leaning back and just listening. And this jury was taking rapid notes during closing arguments, and for both the defense and the prosecution. And to me, that tells me that they are still processing all the information, and I will not be surprised if this goes a long time. Of course, I also want to admit my track record for predicting how long juries go, and I've never been right. So
Yeah, well, I practiced for 20 plus years and I've never been right either. It is impossible to know. That's the one thing I'm always telling my viewers. I'm like, the one thing that is an absolute in the law is you never know what a jury's going to do. You never long. Yeah, like I've had juries that have deliberated on a DUI case, like a DUI case, a little, not even a felony case, for 10 hours. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that they'd come back because I had kind of a novel defense, and I'm like, oh, they're going to reject this thing, but they went 10 out. So you never know. And I agree. This jury has been amazing. They have been so attentive. They have been just so engaged with the entire process. I never saw any of the jurors ever kind of like, like rolling their eye. They're leaning forward. They're listening. They're taking their notes. That's all you can ask for from a jury. That's all you can ask for. And I will always, when I have a jury like that, and their questions were amazing.
Their questions were so amazing. They were so astute. Yeah.
And I love questions like that because it's always something when you're sitting in there watching a trial, you're like, it's something that I would have asked that the lawyers just forgot to ask. So I was like, man, this is great. And they were so well thought out. Like every question was frankly something that I wanted to hear or that I hadn't thought of. So I was amazed by that. So at the end of the day, I hope that everybody accepts what the verdict is, no matter what it is, because this jury deserves that. They sat there, they listened to all the evidence, and they're coming with what their gut is telling them based on the evidence they saw and nothing else. I give credit. I don't give Judge Gull a ton of credit in this case just because of the process, but what I give her a huge amount of credit for is putting this jury essentially in a cave away from all of the noise, me, you, everything.
Yeah. I agree. She stuck to it. She did what she did, and right, and it's worked for, I guess, for this courtroom and for this case. And I think that perhaps we might, because of that, respect this jury's decision all the more. Very few people were there or saw everything that happened, and even the notes all of us YouTubers and podcasters have relayed isn't all of it, right? Like we can only get so much, no matter how hard we try. We've all gotten things wrong. We've all had to apologize when we haven't heard something right. And I just think that in the end, I hope because of that, we'll trust this jury even more because they're the ones that saw everything. Us saw everything except for this jury.
Yeah, exactly. And they, they had a jury instruction yesterday that's like, and it was one of the preliminary we were given. They're like, we want you to take notes, but we don't want you to take notes in lieu of observing the witnesses, looking at the evidence, watching what's in front of you, which us that were trying to take all the notes because we were the eyes and ears, we missed a lot of that, and that was kind of like what I was whining about coming in. I'm like, I'm going to have to miss so much of what I actually want to see. Like, I want to see what is the body language of a witness up there. It's like all that is the kind of thing that you try to use to, if you can, to judge credibility of a witness. And so like a lot of us were note taking and really trying to give it to our listeners and our viewers. We're looking down for a majority of it. So, all right, you're amazing. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, thank you. Hidden True Crime YouTube channel and podcast. I appreciate that. And send me this and I will share it too. I'm honored to be honored to be a guest on Defense Diaries.
Awesome. Thanks, Lauren. We'll see you in there if we get a verdict. All right, so there's Lauren from Hidden True Crime. All right, so we're gonna take a little walk. All right, I'm gonna give you guys the view. All right, so I'm on. Here's the outside of the courthouse. There's probably gonna be times, y'all, where I'm backlit. Like when I get into the shadows of the courthouse, it'll probably be better. So you can see we got some stadies out there with their full garb. It's a calm scene. There's no chaos going on, which is always good. Got the press obviously out here in droves. Everybody's anxiously awaiting. So in case you're wondering what the courthouse looks like, this is it. This is the historic because she was watching, her people were watching, so she knew kind of where I was at, that I was really advocating for her husband to get a fair trial and some due process, and so she appreciated that. And that,
Not be tortured while it's happening.
oh my God, yeah,
I mean, that's the sad part. You're not supposed to be tortured in this country. You're not supposed to. It's not,
that is not what we're about.
you know. So it's sad to see what happens. I mean, this is what happens. You get false confessions. You get stuff not making any sense.
I could not agree more. All right, you guys are amazing. Thanks for being good citizens. Appreciate you. All right, so you got some press. Hey, what's going on? All right, we're gonna make the walk. How are we doing? Oh, we got a nice crowd. Nice crowd. Oh, there's my favorite. I'm gonna get Barb on. My Core TV homie. Ladies, we got a nice sign here for Abby and Libby. Never forgotten. Hold it up. That's absolute gospel right there. How you guys feeling? You want to stay off? You guys okay with me filming? Are you okay?
Oh, I'm media.
Oh, okay. Yes. I wanted to get that sign on there for certain. Yes, of course. We are definitely thinking of the girls today. Definitely thinking of the girls. Thank you. All right. Where did Barb, are you about to do a hit? Oh, good. You're on live with 4,000 people. So what's up? Tell the people here. Let's get your lighting right. Yeah, we don't want backlight. So, all right. So give us your name in case people don't know who you are.
McDonald, senior producer with Court TV.
Well, hello, Barb. Did you get a nice sleep last night?
I nightmares every night that I've been here. Stress dreams. Yeah. So I sleep, but I don't know that it's necessarily restful. But I'm sure there's a lot of people in that same boat waiting for this verdict to come back. So we're at what, almost 5 hours now of deliberations?
Yeah. And what's your, and you and I have been partners on this thing with Vinny on a nightly basis, which I've really enjoyed doing with you. Like where are you at? What are you thinking right now? Where's your headspace?
I kind of thought this morning that they might come back quickly, that they had maybe reached a decision yesterday, went home and slept on it, and would come back and say, okay, we're done. And that hasn't happened yet. Perhaps they are, as you mentioned last night on Vinny's show, perhaps they're disagreeing and decided to break the tension by going home early yesterday and return today to give it a full day to see if they can work out their issues. This jury, unlike a lot of juries, they get to ask questions of the witnesses. They get copies of the exhibits during the trial, which they could take back during breaks and lunch. So they've been able to look at a lot of the material that a typical jury wouldn't until deliberations. So I'm hopeful that they are perhaps further along than it feels like. But I think they're also probably anxious to go home. They've been sequestered for a month now. They're 2 hours away from their family. They get supervised visits with their family on the weekends, internet use. So I think they're probably ready. But can they decide? That's, I think, the $1,000,000 question.
That is 100% the $1,000,000 question. And I think that the one thing that is an absolute truth with jurors in any case, no matter what it is, whether it's a brutal double homicide or whether it's a theft case, that once they're into the minutia of the case and once they feel the weight, and especially in a case like this, the weight of what they are doing in there, that I think that they're willing to, you hope that they're willing to put aside this concept that they have been shut off from the outside world, not just like their families, yes, but everything in their lives. They've been shut out from everything, but you hope that they're like, this outweighs all of that. This is the biggest thing.
Decision. It's a very, very important decision. A man's life is at stake, his future, his family's life, potential closure for the victims' families. And not that they really, I said this last night on Vinny, not that they ever get closure, but they can at least move on to the next phase in the process for them. It's been a very long process for them. It's been a very long process for them. It's been a process for them. It's been a very long, almost process for them. It's been a very long, almost process for them. It's been a very long process for them. It's been a very long, almost process for them. It's been a very long, almost success for them. It's been a very long success for them. It's been a very long, almost success for them. It's been a very long success for them. It's been a very long, almost success for them. It's been a very long. This case has garnered attention from all over the world. I know there's people watching these deliberations from South Africa.
No, but in this country, we cannot devolve to that.
Right. And even the warden of the prison testified, the former warden testified that it was unprecedented treatment of Richard Allen, that he had never seen anybody in his 28-year law enforcement career treated the way that Richard Allen was as a pretrial detainee. And so, will that just knock out the confessions? Will the jury just decide not to even look at that and look at the other evidence? And you still have Richard Allen's own statements putting himself on the trails, the witness statements who saw somebody, and then they kind of matched up with what he said about the people that he saw out at the trails, as well as that bullet. But, there were also issues with that, the analysis on that, and then the headphone thing, which kind of came out of left field from the defense. Somebody plugging in headphones or an auxiliary cable to Libby's phone after Richard Allen is believed to have left the crime scene. And the state very firmly said he left around 4 o'clock and never, ever returned. So if the jurors believe that those headphones were plugged in, that would not have been Richard Allen doing that.
I mean, it's this case is just like the pinnacle of not knowing what happened. But which I guess leads itself to reasonable doubt, right? It's like there's just my thing is I don't know how a jury can ever feel completely secure in this verdict if they come back guilty. Like that's the thing. I think that there will always be nagging questions, which is not how you want to feel as a juror.
And the public is so split. You have people who followed the case who say absolutely it's him, the evidence proves it. People who say absolutely the evidence does not prove it. And then you got people in the middle who are like, I don't know if he's guilty or not. So is the jury going to split the same way? Certainly possible.
Certainly, as I'm I always lean hung. that's my safe spot, is like the hung. So all right, Barb, I love you, I adore you. It's been great working with you, and we're on pins and needles. We'll see you. I'll hunt you down when we get in a verdict.
Absolutely.
The amazing Barb McDonald. Catch her on Court TV. All right, Julie Melvin, what's up, girl? What is up? All right, so you're live with a lot of people.
I'm not even a live person, but hey, how you guys doing? Oh yeah. Oh, that's fine. I've got this on you. Yeah, I'm live with Teresa all the time. Hey, I told Teresa to get her butt on here.
I know she was supposed to be down here.
She was supposed to be here, but I was trying to correspond for her, during this whole time. So.
And just so Teresa knows, we love you. We love you dearly.
Teresa.
We do indeed. So
we're going to do a whole thing.
You've been in it. You've been in the Delphi case. For the whole
Yeah. I have.
So where are you at? What are you feeling? We're at the close evidence. The jury's deliberating. Where are you at?
Just want to say something. I've been fighting for almost 8 years for justice for Libby and Abby. And when you fight for justice, you're through and through. You stay on the same page, right? So who would have known that I would have been just looking at, answering questions for the defense, because this is about truth and justice. Ultimately, it's truth and justice, no matter what our opinions are. And so I found myself like, wait a second, answering questions, just helping the truth come out. I'm like not on either side. I'm just helping truth. And the defense was trying to find the truth. And where we are now, I think that the jury's really good. I think that I think they're pretty smart. But in what I'm thinking, what I've heard in there is nothing in evidence that leads to Richard Allen at all. The prosecution did the rebuttal. They said, oh, we have 4 witnesses for the state. Well, the 4 witnesses for the state, none of them said that this was Richard Allen. They all said he was 5'10", 5'11", poofy hair, didn't describe Richard Allen at all. I mean, and the bullet, Guy Relford from WIBC in Indianapolis, he's a defense attorney. He was all over that bullet when they were trying to compare apples and oranges. You can't take an unspent round and you fail to create the same marks in the laboratory. The state couldn't create the same marks as supposedly Richard Allen did in their lab. So they had to fire it. which it causes gases and pressures, and so it's not the same. So we've got another gun that was the same, Sig Sauer. It's inconclusive. There's nothing at all. There's linking. And what's sad is in America, we're supposed to be free. And unfortunately, through my rose-colored glasses, they had to come off. Constitutionally, we're supposed to be free. But if you give enough people a power and you put power in the wrong hands, we all should be afraid. I'm not trying to scare people, but we have to bond together, and we have to, support the Constitution. We have to demand the truth. We have to hold our legislators to the fire and look at who you vote for. So I'm optimistic. I'm hoping for a not guilty verdict, and I certainly hope it's not hung. It's going to be bittersweet, because what that means to the family is that this remains unsolved, and now you've got all this evidence out there that's going to potentially corrupt if they do find the real killer, because you've got all the mistakes that the state made that they could potentially use. Even if somebody came and said, yeah, I did it, well, what evidence do they have? So bittersweet. I feel for the families. I wish them peace, and for this town, this community, but honestly, I'm hoping for a not guilty verdict.
All right, thanks, Julie, appreciate you. All right. Get some more folks. You guys want to be on live? You want to give people on? You guys want to be on live? You want to give people on the street? You guys want to be on live? You guys want to be on live? You want to give people on the street? You guys want to be on live? Keep you guys obviously apprised if we get a verdict. And if Andrea, lawyer Lee, and I can get our time wrapped up, it'll be post 4:00 where we go live. All right.
Keep your battery going.
I'm doing okay on the battery. All right, so that's it. They're in there. They're deliberating. We had a great crowd. Thank you guys all for hanging with us, and it'll be good times. All right. Peace. See you tonight.